review of The Shy, Season 8, Episode 1. This is the final season, and I am so excited that they are back. Um, this show has had a great run. I've been here since the beginning. Kind of sad to see it go, but I do feel like it has maybe run its course. I mean, we've been through so many characters, so many things. One thing about The Shy, they are not afraid to get rid of a character one way or another. So it's just so many people that's been through this show. But Emmett has all, of course, been a staple. He's been there since the beginning. So we start the episode where well, I think it's like 3 months after where we left off with Victor and Rashad are in prison because we know Alicia, somebody killed her. We think we know who did it, but they Victor found Rashad found it, and then he called Victor instead of calling the Popo, like duh. And then they get there, and when they coming out the house, the cops are right there. So it is so infuriating to see Victor in prison or in jail, and his brother, the menace, out. It's just crazy. I can't stand him. uh so we start, that's where they are. They're in prison. um Even though Victor had an alibi that he was with Tiff at the hospital when she was having a baby, they don't have footage because of course he left as soon as Rashad called him. Then Rashad, the girl that he was with, she has hit gone into hiding, so she can't be his alibi, so they are stuck. And it seems like Rashad has a really good lawyer. She's a female lawyer, and she seems to really know her stuff. I don't know where he met her at, probably through Alicia, because she definitely not no public defender or nothing like that. She on her job. So hopefully they will get out of this, but in the meantime, it's not looking good. And Victor's attorneys are telling him that, listen, you need to just go on and turn on Rashad because this not looking good, and you don't want to go down for this. So next we go over, we see Tiff. Tiff is of course at Alicia's home because if you remember from last season, Alicia had did a will where she left everything to the baby, her son's baby, and Tiff. So she's in that, beautiful home. But who over there with her? But Nook. Oh my gosh, I can't stand Nook. That's another one. He got to go. We got to wrap this up right. So Tiff got this portrait of her, the baby and her and um her baby's father, and she's like, she asked him, do he like it? And of course he's like, well, I don't know, I feel like, I need to make my own memories. Because you killed a man, that's why you don't like it. That's a myth. And Tiff is, I don't like Tiff. Tiff is slow. Tiff, you don't have no good. See, you should have been with Victor. Victor's a good man. He got some, some situations, but he is way better than Nook. But she liked them no good bad boys because Nook is trash. And then we go back to this funeral where Papa's at, which is the next scene. Child, I had forgot about the demise of the pastor. I forgot all about that. Nook is involved in that. So the pastor is gone. Um, Papa talks to the pastor's wife or ex-wife at the end, and he said, you don't seem too sad. What's going on? He was talking to her, and she said, it's just a lot of stuff you don't know about. You're too young to know about. And so he said, talk to me. I want to know. And she said that the police had contacted the pastor to tell about um, one of his people in his church. And so he said, who is she? Said Nook. And he was like, so he was going to ran on him. She said, I don't know. I don't know what he was going to do. But He said, "Do you believe Nook killed him?" She said, "Absolutely." She didn't even hesitate. She said, "Oh yeah, absolutely. I do believe. I can't prove it, but I do think Nook had something to definitely killed him. It had something to do with it." So then Papa starts thinking like, "Dang." So then later in the show, he goes over to the bar that Tiff still has, and he he's sitting there watching watching Nook and Tiff, and kind of like in the corner, laying in the cut. So then after that, Tiffany comes over there and she talks to him, and she's like, what you doing in here or whatever. And he tells her like, do you even trust Nook? Because he tells her about the pastor. He said Nook Kil, the pastor. And she's like, "You don't know that. You don't have any proof of that." And he's like, "Well, this is the thing. It's I don't think you trust. I don't think he's a good person. And do you even trust him?" And she took a while to answer, and then she said, "Yeah, yeah, I trust him." And then she looked over there and looked, and then Papa left. She told him to get out of there, and then she went over there to talk to him, but it flashed over to something else. I'm like, Tiffany, don't go over there and tell Nook that what Papa said, because you're stupid. You might just do that. You don't get Papa killed. So I don't know what's going on with that. Then we go over to Victor, and Victor has a whole house. He's over there with at his girlfriend house, like he always is, with a whole bunch of dudes over there. And Jackie Long, I can't remember his character, but Jackie Long is there, and his girlfriend comes in. She works at the hospital, and she comes in with a whole bag of pills and for Victor, not Victor. What is his name? Victor's brother, the menace. Not Victor. Victor's in jail. Um, she comes in with a whole bunch of stuff and pills, and he buys it from her. And so Jackie Long is of course upset. He like, what are you doing? Like, she said, "I need money. I have to take care of my mom, you know. And so he's like, "Don't call me if you get arrested." And she said, "I won't." And then he gonna say the bad brother, he gonna say, "You could call me," flirting with him right in front of him. So they walk outside, and Jackie Long tries to talk to her and tells her, she said, "It's just expired pills." He said, "You still could get in trouble." She said, "Well, look, I'm doing what I gotta do." So then after everybody leaves, he's over there with the bad Victor brother. I can't think of his name. He's over there, and he is saying, his girlfriend is saying, "Are you flirting? You were flirting with that with Jackie Long's whatever." And she basically told him to get out. I thought he was gonna cut up and not leave, but he left. And so he calls Victor in jail, and he says, "Look, I need somewhere to stay. I need to stay at the house, at their house, because Jake hadn't even been staying at the house. Um, because he kind of lost a little bit, of course, because of Victor. He adores Victor, his brother, and he's so upset that he's still in prison. So he was over there with Jabari and his girlfriend, and they offered to him that he could stay there because um, Jabari's girlfriend brother went back to rehab, so nobody's there but them. And they were trying. They said, "You could stay here. We have extra room." And he's like, "Nah, Jake." He's like, "Nah, I don't want to be. I guess he didn't want to be a burden or whatever." So in the meantime, um the other brother calls Victor in prison and tell him, "Look, I need somewhere to stay." And he's like, "No, you can't stay at that house, at our house." And he's like, "I ain't gotta ask you. It's all ours. It's all our house. This don't belong just to you. I'm just trying to be respectful." And so Victor was like, "Nah, you can't stay there." Man, he hung that phone up. He was like, "Man, please." So he went up in there, bust open the door, and child, he done took over. Got all kind of women running all over there. So Victor called Jake. No, well, not Victor didn't call Jake, because I don't think. Well, maybe he did, because he in prison. Yeah, he called Jake, and he told him, "Don't let him in that house. whatever you do, don't let him take over that house. Now, how he's supposed to go against him and all of his guys? That don't even make sense. So, but he told him, go in my closet under the baseboard. He went in the closet under the baseboard, and he went in the closet under the baseboard, and um he saw GUN, and I guess that's supposed to help him stop the brother from getting in there, but that's not going to help Jake. And y'all know Jake. I listen. I like Jake, but Jake is not a Jake kind of soft. Jake is not going. He is no match to his brother. So he probably gonna be over there staying at Jabari in the house. Um, Jabari's book is being sold. It's his publication day. He's at the bookstore, and nobody's showing up. So of course he's discouraged. The girlfriend had already told him he needed to go ahead and promote it more, but he got a hard head. He just don't listen. So they were at a certain spot. Oh, they was at Tiff spot. That's right. They was at Tiff spot, Nook and Tiff. Tiff still selling her strings, and this guy that works for Nook was there, and Nook's Jabbar's girlfriend came in the room, and he's like, "Oh, we just letting randoms run through here right now." And Jabbar said, "She ain't no random. She my girlfriend." He said, "Oh, so we just supposed to trust this, bitch?" And so Jabbar was like, "Hold up, you know." So the guy still kept peeping her and looking at her. She seen how she was looking over there because she don't want Jabbar with looking there, which I agree with her. But the disdain was all over her face, and she was like, she didn't, so he noticed it, the guy, and he told Nook later that, um, you shouldn't trust him because he over here pillow talking with his girl. That's why she over here looking at us, sideways. And Nook took up for him because he liked Jabari. And he said, look, Jabari is my number two. If you don't like it, you can get out. And so he did. And he went right on over there to the enemy, Victor brother, and asked for a job. And they hired him. So I think he gonna be an issue. Um, Paul Jabari got so many enemies, but he has definitely gained a new one with this dude. So over at Eminem house, it is a hotel extravaganza. Everybody and their mama living over there with Eminem. Emmett's dad is over there because it seems like he don't want to go home because Emmett's mom last season. Oh my gosh, we all remember the passing of his mom, and so his dad is over there, and he he's over there with his Wendy Raquel Robinson. If you remember, he met her when he went to like this this group to help grieving people that are grieving with those who have cancer. So they over there living with Emmett and them, and Emmett is like, I don't understand. Emmett wife is so sweet. She always make room for everybody. But Emmett is not happy because he still misses mom, and he kind of upset over his dad, moving on like, so quickly. And she like, he gotta don't be like that. He has to move on too. But in reality, the dad is not really moving on. He's just trying to ease his pain and with the new woman. And he actually calls that lady by his ex-wife name. And so they go on and break up towards the end of the show. At least I think they broke up. They needed some space because she understood because she been through grief herself. But yeah, he don't need to be there. Next we see another one of we see Emmy go over to Tiff's house, and we see Emmy go over to Tiff's house, and of course Nook is over there with his shirt off because he done spent the night. And Emmy is looking at him like, because he went over there and bring the little boy, his wife's son, over there uh for Nook. And so you could tell, that he didn't tell Tiff nothing, and Tiff mama was over there. She don't like Nook either. Nobody like Nook. So later he's at the house, and his wife is at, well, not his wife, girlfriend is asking him what's wrong, Eminem. So he goes on and he says, "Do you trust Nook?" And because that's her baby daddy, and she's like, "Well, I trust him to be a good father." He said, "Well, what you think about him and Tiff?" And she said, "Well, that's really not my business, but if she happy, it's all that matter to me. I don't know. She seemed like she trusts him." And so he just not, so we don't know if it's because he jealous or he really don't like a Nook. And I think it's kind of a little mixture of both. Um, so his other baby mother that had moved to Virginia or wherever, she came back and brought the son because she said Emmett's son has been getting into fights. He's a cute little boy. He been getting into fights and taking money out of her purse. And she like, look, he need his dad. He needs some guidance. So I brought him back to you. So now he's staying with them, and he done went to school. Just got there now. Just went to school with and with I don't know where he got the GUN from, but the principal called and they said he had the GUN because he had fought. He the first day of school he got in a fight. So I don't know what they're gonna do with him, but that's on Emmett's plate. So Emmy got a lot going on. And the dad was talking to him and said, "When are you gonna get married? She's a good woman. When are you gonna marry her?" He said, "Well, I asked her to marry me the last time." He said, "Yeah, but that you ain't really do it right. That was, you act like you did that under duress after she asked to get married." And he said, "Well, I still meant it." He's like, "Yeah, but you need to do better. You need to do a better job." So I don't know. Eventually, I guess he's gonna ask her to marry. It's so funny because for the longest time, I thought they was already married last season, and I was like, you know what? No, they not. So because that's what she threw that in his face when he was asking about Tiff. She said, why are you worried about your ex-wife?" He said, "Oh, now she my ex-wife." She said, "Well, she got the ring. I didn't." He said, "Oh, so this what this about?" Well, yeah, I mean, dang, because she putting up with a lot. He got all these kids, his dad over there. That house is a full station. So next we see uh Karushi and I don't know her character's name on here, and um, the pastor's right hand man, can't think of his name. I'm gonna have the names right next week, y'all. Um, but y'all know him. He played on Power. He's a really good actor. So he's the right pastor right hand man. So apparently he no longer in with the church. He owns a barber shop now, and them two used to date. I don't know why they throwing him in here. I guess they gotta have something for him to do. Honestly, these two should have just been xed out because Caruccio man back in who was Jabari's girlfriend's brother, he in rehab. So when he left the show, she should have left too. Like we don't need to see her. And so I don't know what's gonna happen between them two. But he told her he was celibate, and she said, I don't know. It's just a waste of time. I'm not really gonna be focusing on them two. The main story is Victor and Rashawn. They got to get out of jail some kind of way because they did not do this, and we cannot have them in all season. So hopefully they figure a way to get them out of jail soon. And then the next story is getting is Nuck. Nuck got to we got to Tiffany got to find out that Nuck is the one that got rid of her baby's daddy. She got to. The story cannot end without that happening. And then, of course, Victor's brother, who is the menace of the show. I feel like he probably gonna make it all the way to the end because he adds the drama, to the show. Hopefully Papa make it. Hopefully, uh, the rest of the young cast makes it through the whole end of the show, but I don't know. Papa got me concerned because he digging his stuff. He's sticking his nose in a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna say that's not his business, but he messing with some dangerous people. We already know Nook will get rid of you in a minute, and he'll make Jabari do it. He'll make Jabari do it. So, mm-mm. Oh, Jabari did go visit Rashawn in jail. That was good. He bought him his book because Rashawn always encouraged him, and so he asked Jabari was down because nobody came to his book selling. And he said, "Well, did you promote it?" He's like, "Well, I was too busy doing my other job." And Rashawn was like, "You still working for Nook?" And he was like, "Yeah, I gotta make money." He said, "You could go to the chicken place to work." He's like, "No, that's not enough money." He said, "Man, you messing up." He tried to tell him. And then he asked him a question. He said, "Man, do you care if you live or die?" And Jabari gonna answer. Jabari said, "I don't know." And it was sad. It was sad. It was really sad. Because Rashawn just looked at him like, dang. Because he probably know what that felt like. Because we know, that he had went to prison a long time ago. So anyway, um, that was pretty much the gist of what happened. For a first episode, I'm gonna give it about a B. I mean, it was just kind of like a reintroduction of all the stories from last season, um, and just kind of letting us see where people are. I do miss Alicia. Alicia was such a good character. She was so good on the show. But she, like I said, the shadow had no problem getting rid of you. So we moving on. I will be back next week. I am definitely going to review every episode of this last season. I am also reviewing the Divorced Sisters. I'm also reviewing um, Real Housewives of Atlanta and a couple of other things, a couple of other ideas I have. I'm going to definitely be full force on here. And I hope you enjoy, and I hope you come back and check me out. So you all have a great day, and see you next week.